So there's this myth that there is the perfect day to take the MCAT on. You know, like it's miraculously easier on Tuesdays, or that July is the sweetest month. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but you simply cannot hack the MCAT this way. It's immutably challenging no matter which date you take it on. But I'm not going to leave you hanging. So in this video, I'll talk you through my top tips for choosing your MCAT test date so that 1, you are properly ready when that date comes, and 2, you aren't totally burned out from either taking the MCAT right after finals or sacrificing your entire summer vacation to studying. Hi, I'm Thea Beckman, a learning coach with Brainscape, the world's smartest study app. If you haven't yet discovered our certified MCAT flashcards, go check them out today because they will help you memorize the essential facts twice as efficiently as any other study technique, which will free up much needed time to focus on other important things, like practicing questions or taking a day to just refresh and rejuvenate. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel for a steady stream of helpful tips for doing well on the MCAT and getting into your ideal medical school. Okay, so now for the goods. Starting with this tip. Know what your medical school application deadlines are. If you want to be considered a candidate for the coming school year, you'll need to take the MCAT, wait the month it usually takes to get your results back, and then put together your applications for the schools you want to get into. And you'll need to do all of this before their respective deadlines. So find out what those are so you can use those as goalposts. Also, the earlier you submit your applications, the better. You want to be amongst the first candidates considered for positions at these med schools. But having said that, I'd remind you that your priority right now is passing the MCAT with a high score. And if that requires you to study longer and miss those deadlines for this year, so be it. Don't rush your education or you'll just get disappointing scores, which will put your application at a disadvantage. Or you'll end up having to retake the MCAT, which kind of defeats the purpose of beating those deadlines in the first place. So my next tip is to register your test dates as soon as you can once you've made a decision. The MCAT may be offered 20 to 30 times per year, but those seats fill up super quickly. So if you want to arrange your MCAT test date for next June, for example, get online as early as you can in October to choose your ideal date and test venue. Remember, everyone is anxious to get through the MCAT as soon as possible after graduating so that they can meet the school application deadlines for the following year. So the earlier you register, the better, provided you give yourself enough time to actually study for the MCAT. Now, speaking of studying for the MCAT, my next tip is think really carefully before you decide to take the MCAT during or even before your college finals. Some students actually do this. They take the MCAT before they've even completed their prerequisite courses for medical school so that they can get it out of the way and apply for medical school that same year. What this means is that while these students are actively attending classes, completing assignments, and even studying for finals, they're also studying for the MCAT, which is nuts. Look, the MCAT is a high enough hurdle without having to do all these other really important things. So my advice to you is to complete college and pass your finals before taking on the MCAT. Besides, the two are completely different. The MCAT tests your knowledge in a totally different way to regular college courses. So forget the whole killing two birds with one stone thing. For more on that, I really recommend you check out our article, which compares MCAT and college courses, and you'll find the link to that in the show notes below. But if, however, you know yourself well, you're killing it in college, you've taken an MCAT practice test, and you know what you're up against, and believe that you can do it, well, be my guest. Either way, I do have a useful study tool that can help you with the content memorization aspect of your studies, and that's actually my next and final tip. Use Brainscape to speed up your studying. Brainscape's adaptive flashcards have been scientifically proven to help students memorize content twice as fast as those who rely on traditional study techniques. Also, our team of MCAT nerds have already broken down all the information you need to know into neatly organized collections of flashcards, which you can use anytime, anywhere, and on any device. So prioritizing only the most essential information and drilling you on it via a spaced repetition algorithm that is personalized to your pace of learning, Brainscape can help you learn twice as fast, which frees up a lot of time for you to do other important things, like nailing those practice exams and getting out occasionally for some exercise. So there are 4 rock-solid tips for choosing your MCAT test date. Consider the application deadlines for your chosen medical schools. Register your test date as soon as you can. Think carefully before taking the MCAT during finals, and use Brainscape to speed up your studying so that you have the luxury of taking the MCAT earlier, if you like. For more detailed guidance on choosing your MCAT test date, including a month-to-month breakdown of the pros and cons, check out our full guide on this topic, link in the show notes below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for a steady stream of excellent advice on taking the MCAT and embarking upon a rewarding career in medicine. Finally, trust yourself. Take the time you need, dedicate yourself to achieving those daily study goals, and lean on Brainscape. If you do all of these things, you can and you will rise to the challenge of the MCAT.